Hi everyone, it's Ray here from Man City Fan TV. Today I'm going to do probably my most difficult video with my most difficult decisions. I'm going to look at our four centre backs and decide which ones are the best and who I'd start next season. So the four centre backs in question are Vincent Kompany, John Stones, Nicholas Otamendi and Aymeric Laporte. I'll start off with Vincent Kompany. Now Vincent really is a Rolls Royce of a defender. He's world class. He's been with us for many years and he's our leader and he loves the club, he loves Manchester, his wife's from Manchester. Everything about Vincent is right for Manchester City, except he is prone to injury. In the last 3 seasons, he's only played 57 games for Man City, and that's across all competitions. That's the League, Champions League, League Cup and the FA Cup. So that's not a lot of games. It's averaging 19 a season. And that's got to be a massive worry for the future. He's 32 years old. He's not getting any younger. He's not getting any faster. He might be more experienced now. He might be quicker in his thought. Like pundits say, he might think the first 1 or 2 yards in his head before anybody else can react. But we've got to face facts. He's had a lot of injury problems. Just before the World Cup, he got injured and it was feared his groin injury could mean him missing the whole tournament. Fortunately for Vincent, and for Belgium, he recovered in time, and obviously he helped to lead them to 3rd place in the World Cup. And his love of Belgium, his national team, is also a bit of a worry to me. It's while playing for Belgium that he's had 2 or 3 injuries in the past, a muscle injury, which has meant him missing a lot of time for Man City in the last 3 seasons. To prolong his career at Man City, you'd expect him to retire from international football at the age of 32. But I can't see that happening. I think he loves Belgium too much. This current Belgian team is the best it's ever been, and it's only going to get better in the next few years. And I can see Vincent Kompany wanting to be there in 2 years' time at the next Euro Championships, where I really believe Belgium and France will be the top 2 teams and be a ding-dong battle as to who's going to come out on top. So I can see Vincent sticking with the Belgium national team to the detriment of his career at Man City. The next centre-back that I want to look at is Nicholas Otamendi. Now he's 30 years old. And over the last 3 seasons, he's played, I think it's 137 games across all competitions. That's averaging 45, 46 games every single season. For me, last season, Nicholas Otamendi was a bit of a surprise package. If you looked at his performances from the season before, a lot of City fans that I had spoken to didn't expect him to actually still be at the club last season. He was always diving in, getting caught out, and you always thought there was a mistake in him. And he seemed to be a weak link in our defence, amongst others. But it was his diving in that really, I think, annoyed a lot of City fans. Reckless, clueless sometimes, and often causing us problems. So actually, last season was a bit of a surprise. He was probably overall for the full season our best defender and our most reliable defender. And I think we saw a range of passing that we just didn't expect from him. So whether it was the system, whether it was Pep's coaching and training, or whether Nicholas Otamendi suddenly managed to screw his head together better, last season was fantastic for him. But we saw at the World Cup some of his old frailties coming back against real top-class opposition. So that's a little bit of a worry that in some of the top games, maybe the latter stages of the Champions League, he'll let us down again. Next defender is John Stones. Now he's only 24 years old, and over the last couple of seasons at City, he's played 70 games. That's averaging 35 games a season, about double what Vincent Kompany averages. Now he's another silky defender. He brings the ball out quite easily, quite comfortably. We saw at the World Cup, he was dictating to the other defenders as to where to go. He's telling them what to do, where he wanted them. He could dictate the pace, as I said, bring the ball out, good range of passing, and he really was a great asset to the England team at the World Cup. But as we also saw at the World Cup, he does have a mistake or two in him. He doesn't always concentrate 100% of the time. And yes, that can be a worry going into big games. But I think because of his age, he's only 24, he'll just get better in the next 2 or 3 years with experience, more games. You've also got to accept some of the risks he takes. It's the way Pep wants to play. You've got to take risks to beat the press. That's the way Pep wants it. And sometimes those risks won't pay off. And the last of our centre-backs is Aymeric Laporte. Now we bought him towards the end of the transfer window last January from Athletic Bilbao. I think he'd been there 5 or 6 years, I think 5 years playing in the top division in Spain, La Liga. In the 4 months he was at City last season, he played in 13 games, and like John Stones, he's only 24 years old. Personally, I don't think I've seen enough of Aymeric Laporte to get a good opinion of how good he can be at City. I know Pep wanted him a couple of years ago until he got injured, and the fact that Pep stuck around and went back in for him really shows to us that Pep really trusts him, Pep really believes in him. And who am I to argue with Pep Guardiola? So, 4 centre-backs. Now 4 into 2 just doesn't go, it doesn't work. So I've got to pick 2 and leave 2 out. As I said, it's a really tough call. Vincent Kompany, when fit, I think he's a classiest, best defender. John Stones is so cool these days. Before he got injured last season, he was with Nicholas Otamendi, the best centre-back pairing we had. He was absolutely unbelievable. I just couldn't believe the difference a season had made it to him. But after he got injured, he was poor. Something was really not right with him. But he's still a classy defender. Nicholas Otamendi, best defender last year overall, but has he still got a mistake in him? And Aymeric Laporte, don't know enough about him. So 4 into 2 just doesn't go. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to take the chicken way out. I'm going to go and say Pep's going to go with 3 at the back. And for my 3 at the back, I'm going to have John Stones, Nicholas Otamendi and Vincent Kompany. Let us know in the comments below whether you agree. If you think Pep's going to go with 2 defenders as centre-backs, let us know who you think those 2 centre-backs will be. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please, we still need your support. We're getting ever closer to those 1,000 subscribers that we wanted by the start of the season. Remember, there will be a prize draw for all the subscribers on YouTube at the start of the season, just before the game against Arsenal. So if you want to be in with a chance to win a City-related prize, you've got to subscribe before the Arsenal game. See you around, Blues.